Focus on yourself and work hard in silence. While the world is busy shouting for attention, chasing likes, posting progress, and pretending to be further ahead than they are, there is another kind of person quietly being formed, a different breed, the one who is not talking about success because they are too busy building it. You know this person. Sometimes you feel that person waking up inside you. You are up late when everyone else has already quit. You are learning when they are scrolling. You are planning when they are complaining. No one applauds. No one notices. No one posts you on a screen. But something powerful is happening in the dark. This is the law of silent success. The law that says when you stop performing for the world and start working for your destiny, your results will one day speak so loudly that no words will be necessary. In this message, we are not here to make you louder. We are here to make you deeper, more focused, more disciplined, more dangerous. In the quiet, you will learn how to pull your energy back from the noise, how to stop proving yourself and start improving yourself, how to build an unshakable work ethic, a millionaire-level mindset, and a success system that grows in silence while the world is distracted. One day, they will ask, "Where did you come from?" And you will know the truth. You didn't come from nowhere. You came from years of work no one saw. Focus on yourself. Work hard in silence, and let your future make the noise. Success has a rhythm, and it is almost never loud. The world teaches you that achievement is about visibility, performance, and public validation. But every great destiny is built the same way, quietly, patiently, deliberately, long before the world ever knows your name. Think of the tallest buildings on earth. For months, even years, nothing seems to happen. People walk past the construction site and see only a giant hole in the ground. They assume nothing is being built. They assume no progress is being made. But underground, a massive foundation is forming deeper, wider, stronger than anyone can imagine, because the higher the building must rise, the deeper the foundation must go. This is the law of silent building, the same law that governs your life. The breakthroughs people applaud later are built during the seasons no one sees. The promotions, the transformations, the financial rise, the new identity, all of it is forged in the quiet hours when you could have chosen distraction, but instead chose discipline. The world sees results, but success sees roots, and roots grow in silence. When you work without announcing every step, you protect your progress. You protect your energy. You protect your focus. You remove the weight of expectation, comparison, and outside noise. You create a private space where growth can accelerate without interference. Because the moment you tell the world, "I'm building something," you invite opinions, judgments, doubts, and projections. People will question your dreams, underestimate your capability, and often unconsciously discourage your momentum. But when you move in silence, none of that noise reaches you. Your vision stays pure. Your focus remains sharp. Your time belongs to you, not to the expectations of others. Silent building is not about secrecy, it is about strategy. It's about understanding this truth. Talking drains energy. Execution compounds energy. The more you talk about your goals, the more your mind feels as if it has already accomplished them, giving you a false sense of achievement. You receive the dopamine of being seen instead of the dopamine of actual progress. Meanwhile, the silent builder uses that energy to move forward, not to broadcast intention. While others speak, they plan. While others show off, they sharpen. While others seek attention, they build momentum. And momentum built in silence is the most powerful force in your life, because quiet progress is uninterrupted progress. Quiet progress is consistent progress. Quiet progress is protected progress untouched by ego, applause, or expectation. The world celebrates noise, but destiny celebrates depth. Noise is temporary. Depth is unshakable. Success is not impressed by how loudly you talk about change. Success responds to the quiet decisions you make when no one is watching, the sacrifices, the discipline, the late nights, the early mornings, the hours of self-education, the internal battles you win alone. If you want to rise above average, you must embrace what average people avoid: the silent seasons, the seasons where the work is lonely. The results are invisible. The progress is internal, and no one understands what you are doing. But these are the seasons that separate those who wish from those who become, because when you build in silence, you are not just working toward success, you are becoming the kind of person who can sustain success. And when the time is right, your results will appear with such strength and clarity that the world will have no choice but to ask, "How did you do it?" And your answer will be simple: "I built it in silence." The world today is addicted to noise. Everyone is scrolling, comparing, posting, performing, desperate to be seen, desperate to be validated. People measure their worth by likes, comments, views, and digital applause that disappears in 24 hours. But if you want to rise above the average, you must detach from the performance culture that keeps average people stuck. Your future will not grow where your attention is dying, and nothing kills your attention faster than living for the feed instead of living for your purpose. The truth is simple. When you focus on others, you lose yourself. When you focus on yourself, you build yourself. Comparison is one of the greatest thieves of potential. You look at someone else's highlight reel and forget the years of quiet practice, quiet failures, and quiet rebuilding that came before their breakthrough. You see the final product, but not the silent process. And if you compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, you will always feel behind. You will always doubt your path. You will always hesitate to take action. But the people who win, the people who rise, understand something powerful. Your only competition is the person you were yesterday, not the influencer posting motivational quotes, not the entrepreneur showing rented luxury, not the friend who seems ahead, not the stranger who looks successful online but is struggling in real life. Your progress is not measured by how loudly you can prove you're improving. Your progress is measured by how deeply you can commit to improving without needing to prove anything. This is why the most dangerous person in any room is not the loudest. It's the one who is quietly getting better every day while the rest are busy performing improvement instead of living it. To truly focus on yourself, you must reclaim your mental space, silence the noise. Silence the comparisons. Silence the pressure to show your progress. Once you stop feeding the need to be seen, something incredible happens. Your energy returns to you. The energy you used to give away, seeking validation, becomes fuel for your evolution. You stop living reactively controlled by trends, opinions, and expectations, and you begin living intentionally. Some people spend more time crafting a perfect post about their goals than actually working on those goals. They talk more than they transform. They seek applause instead of skill. They chase attention instead of mastery. But the person who focuses inward, quietly learning, quietly improving. Quietly, staying consistent becomes unstoppable. Why? Because focus creates depth, and depth creates value, and value creates wealth, opportunity, and long-term success. When you focus on yourself, you begin to notice the areas you must strengthen: your habits, your mindset, your skills, your routines, your energy, your discipline. You start to realize it's not the world you must control, it's you, your time, your focus, your emotions, your environment, your habits. And once you master the inner world, the outer world starts aligning with you in ways you could never imagine. Most people never experience this power because they are too busy watching others live their lives instead of designing their own. But you, if you choose the path of silent focus, will discover a truth that changes everything. When you stop paying attention to others, you accelerate your own growth. When you stop performing for the world, you start building your world. And when you stop trying to be seen, you finally become someone worth noticing. Focus on yourself and watch how far you rise. Growth is not a performance. It is a private contract you make with your future self, a promise that you will do the work even when no one is watching, applauding, or validating your effort. In a world obsessed with appearance, true transformation becomes rare. People want to look successful before they become successful. They want to post progress before they make progress. They want the image of growth, not the discipline of growth. But private growth requires something deeper: the courage to evolve without an audience. This is the discipline most people run from, because real growth is unglamorous. It is quiet. It is repetitive. It is uncomfortable. It is the kind of work that gives you no applause until years later. Think of the world's greatest performers: athletes, thinkers, creators, entrepreneurs. Their victories were public, but their transformation was always private. You didn't see the hours of practice. You didn't see the doubts they wrestled with. You didn't see the failures they buried and rebuilt from. You didn't see the mornings they wanted to quit or the nights they stayed up learning when no one believed in them. You saw the result, but you never saw the becoming. Private growth is the discipline of showing up for yourself long before the rest of the world shows up for you. It is waking up early when no one will praise you for it. It is reading, studying, practicing, refining when no one knows you're doing it. It is saying no to distractions no one else will ever see you resist. It is sacrificing comfort no one else will understand. And here is the truth: you cannot build a powerful public life from a weak private one. Who you are in silence determines who you become in the spotlight. The quiet work you do when no eyes are on you is what prepares you for the opportunities that will one day find you. Private growth builds three things. 1. Skill mastery. Your skill becomes your leverage. Your ability becomes your advantage. And mastery is only forged in the hours no one records, no one posts, no one celebrates. If you want to be too good to be ignored, you must be willing to practice long before anyone cares. 2. Identity strength. Each private victory choosing discipline, resisting temptation, completing one more rep, one more chapter, one more hour strengthens your identity. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to respect yourself. And when you respect yourself, you outgrow needing validation from others. 3. Unshakable confidence. Confidence does not come from compliments. It comes from competence. It comes from knowing you've done the work, the real work, not the posted work. When you grow in private, you don't need to tell anyone who you are becoming. Your presence will reveal it. Your results will prove it. Your energy will announce it. This is the discipline of private growth. Do the work quietly now so you can live loudly later, not through words, but through undeniable results. Most people won't do it. They choose attention over evolution, performance over discipline, validation over mastery. But you, if you choose the path of private growth, will unlock a power the world rarely sees. The power of becoming someone extraordinary in silence and revealing it only through achievement. Keep your head down. Get better. Strengthen your skills, your character, your mind, your habits. One day, the world will see what silence created, and they won't believe how quickly you appeared. But you'll know the truth. You didn't appear. You were building all along. Success does not arrive all at once. It arrives in whispers through tiny, almost invisible actions repeated with quiet discipline over time. Most people underestimate the power of consistency because its results do not appear immediately. They want transformation, but they want it fast. They want growth, but they want it without repetition. They want mastery, but they do not want monotony. Yet consistency is the force that separates the dreamers from the achievers, the talkers from the doers, and the temporary from the timeless. Think of building muscle. One workout changes nothing. 10 workouts change little. But 100 workouts quietly reshape who you are. Not because the workouts were dramatic, but because they were consistent. This is the law of compounding. Small disciplines practiced daily produce massive results over time. But here's the part most people never realize. Consistency works silently. Consistency works slowly. Consistency works invisibly until suddenly it doesn't. One day, someone looks at you and says, "How did you change so fast?" And you smile. Because you know the truth. You didn't change fast. You changed daily. Every small act of discipline brought you closer. Every quiet session of deep work sharpened you. Every habit you practiced in silence built momentum. Every sacrifice you made when no one noticed was a brick in the foundation of your future. The world applauds outcomes. Not repetitions, but repetitions are what create outcomes. Consistency is not glamorous. It's not exciting. It's not Instagrammable. It's filled with routines that feel ordinary, moments that feel boring, and days when progress feels invisible. But here is the secret. The boring work is the work that builds you. Most people quit not because they lack talent, but because they lack patience. They look for a spark, not a system. They want motivation, not mastery. They chase intensity instead of building consistency. But those who win understand that intensity creates moments, while consistency creates legacies. A single burst of effort may move you forward today, but consistent effort will move you forward for a lifetime. Consistency also protects you from emotional turbulence. When you have a daily system, your progress no longer depends on how you feel. You don't wait for motivation, you rely on discipline. You don't wait for clarity, you trust the routine. You don't wait for applause, you trust the compounding effect. This is why consistent people seem unstoppable. They have built momentum that emotions cannot break. Even on bad days, they move forward. Even on tired days, they move forward. Even on uncertain days, they move forward. Because consistency is not about doing everything perfectly, it is about refusing to stop. Picture a drop of water striking stone. One drop means nothing. 100 drops mean nothing. But thousands of drops carve their way into rock, not through force. Through consistency, your habits work the same way. Your mindset works the same way. Your discipline works the same way, and your results will work the same way. One day, your silent consistency will erupt into visible success. People will think it happened overnight. They'll talk about your sudden growth, your natural talent, your lucky break, but you will know what really happened. You showed up when others slept. You repeated when others quit. You practiced when others performed. You quietly mastered what they loudly ignored. And because of that, you will rise not by accident, not by luck, but by compounding discipline. Consistency is your superpower. Use it quietly. Let it work silently, and let its results speak loudly when the time comes. If you want to become unstoppable, you must learn to master the one battlefield. Most people avoid the battlefield within. People spend their lives trying to control how others see them, but very few ever learn to control how they see themselves. They invest energy into crafting an image and ignore the inner foundation required to sustain real success. They rehearse confidence, but they do not build it. They perform stability, but they do not practice it. They chase validation, but they never develop inner strength. And the truth is simple. If your emotions control you, the world will too. But if you control your emotions, nothing in the world can stop you. Inner strength does not come from pretending to be strong. It comes from confronting the parts of yourself that you'd rather avoid. It comes from choosing discipline when your feelings want comfort. It comes from holding your focus steady when your emotions want to pull you in every direction. This is why the silent path is so powerful. It forces you to build your emotional core instead of chasing external noise. When you stop seeking applause, you begin seeking clarity. When you stop trying to impress others, you begin impressing yourself. When you stop performing progress, you begin practicing progress. Inner strength is built in moments no one sees. When you feel overwhelmed, but you still show up. When you feel doubt, but you still take the step. When you feel fear, but you refuse to retreat. When you feel tired, but you finish what you started. When you feel misunderstood, but you keep moving anyway. These invisible victories shape your character more than any public achievement ever will. Because true emotional mastery is not about avoiding negative feelings, it's about refusing to let them dictate your decisions. Most people quit not because they lack the ability, but because they let temporary emotions destroy permanent opportunities. They let fear stop them. They let insecurity shrink them. They let impatience rush them. They let resentment poison them. They let comparison blind them. Inner strength is choosing not to surrender your future to temporary emotions. This is the discipline of the silent achiever. They act based on standards, not moods. They move based on purpose, not impulses. They continue based on commitment, not convenience. And because of that, they become emotionally unshakable. When distractions come, they stay focused. When disappointment comes, they stay steady. When criticism comes, they stay grounded. When chaos comes, they stay calm. Because emotional stability is intelligence. Emotional independence is power. Emotional discipline is freedom. Here's the truth no one teaches. You cannot build a powerful life with an unstable mind. If every comment affects you, anyone can control you. If every setback breaks you, life will drain you. If every delay frustrates you, progress will abandon you. You must rise above your emotional reactions and operate from your higher self, the version of you that thinks long-term, stays logical, and protects your energy. Inner strength is not coldness. It is not numbness. It is not pretending to feel nothing. It is the ability to feel everything and still remain in control. This is why silent work is your greatest training ground. It teaches you to hold your emotions steady. It teaches you to keep moving without applause. It teaches you to stay disciplined without validation. It teaches you to trust yourself when no one is watching. In silence, you build the emotional architecture of a champion. And once your inner world is solid, the outer world can no longer shake you. You become someone who does not break, someone who does not fold, someone who does not retreat, someone who is guided not by emotion, but by purpose, patience, and unshakable self-respect. There is a silent advantage in this world, one so powerful, so underestimated, that only a small percentage ever master it. It is the advantage of working quietly, building quietly, growing quietly, while everyone else is busy explaining, broadcasting, and performing. Most people lose momentum not because they lack talent, but because they expose their dreams too early. The moment you tell the world what you are building, you invite noise, opinions, doubts, judgments, comparisons, resistance. And noise is the enemy of focus, silence. On the other hand, is where clarity is born, where strategy sharpens, where confidence grows from within instead of being inflated by applause. When you move in silence, you create a strategic force field around your progress. No one can discourage what they do not know. No one can sabotage what they cannot see. No one can compete with what they cannot predict. No one can limit what they cannot measure. Silence protects your ambition from the energy of those who do not believe in you, and even from those who do believe in you, but unintentionally place pressure on you. Because the more people who know your plans, the more expectations you must carry. And expectation is weight that slows the mind, weakens the spirit, and crushes creativity. When you work quietly, you move lightly. You adjust quickly. You change direction without explanation. You redesign your life without an audience evaluating every step. This fluidity is a superpower. It allows you to build with precision instead of performance. Consider this truth: momentum grows fastest when no one is watching. In silence, you are free from comparison, free from pressure, free from premature praise that tricks your mind into complacency, free from criticism that can choke your confidence before your potential matures. Silence is the incubator of greatness. Think of the seed underground. No applause, no recognition, no sunlight at first. But in that darkness, roots form, strength develops, potential multiplies. Only when it is ready, only when it can withstand the environment, does it finally break through the surface. Your dreams work the same way. They must be protected in silence until they are strong enough to survive the noise. This is why people who move quietly seem to come out of nowhere. They didn't come out of nowhere. They grew in private, and they emerged in power. This is the pattern of every major success story: years of invisible work followed by one season of undeniable results. By the time people notice you, the work is already done. The foundation is already built. The habits are already established. The discipline is already hardened. Silence trains you to build without applause, to stay committed without validation, to rely on your internal compass instead of the world's shifting opinions. And the more you practice this, the stronger you become. Silence develops a rare kind of confidence, a confidence rooted in competence, not compliments. You no longer need to say, "Watch me," because your results will say it louder than words ever could. And here is the final truth of moving in silence: people cannot attack what they cannot see. They cannot stop what they cannot track. They cannot challenge what they cannot comprehend. You become unpredictable, unbothered, untouchable. Move in silence. Let your vision breathe. Let your work compound. Let your growth mature. And when you do emerge, your success will not need an introduction. It will speak for itself. True success is never built on noise. It is built on mastery, the kind of mastery that requires solitude, discipline, and an unshakable commitment to excellence. This is the silent legacy of those who rise to the top while the rest of the world is busy trying to be seen. In today's world, people confuse visibility with value. They believe that if they post enough, talk enough, announce enough, the world will somehow reward them. But real greatness has never worked that way. The strongest foundations are built quietly. The sharpest skills are forged privately. The most respected individuals are not the loudest. They are the ones whose results carry weight without needing a single word. Quiet mastery means this: you become so good, so consistent, so undeniable, that the world has no choice but to take notice without you ever asking for attention. That is the legacy worth building. Quiet mastery begins with humility. Humility is not weakness, it is focus. It is the ability to say, I don't need applause. I need improvement. When you stop performing for validation, you free your energy for evolution. Humility removes the need to announce every step. It lets you refine your craft without an audience analyzing your progress. It allows you to fail privately, adjust privately, and rise privately, so that when the world finally sees you, they see strength, not struggle. This is what every master understands. Excellence is earned, not displayed. The world celebrates the finished product, not the process. No one applauds the countless hours you spent learning, practicing, failing, refining. But that is exactly what makes mastery powerful. It is built in the shadows, perfected in silence, revealed only when ready. Quiet mastery also gives you complete control of your narrative. When you aren't constantly announcing your goals, you aren't trapped by the expectations of others. You grow at your own pace. You evolve without pressure. You pivot without explanation. And because you are not performing for the world, you are free to become your truest, strongest, most capable self. The most influential people in any field: innovators, artists, thinkers, entrepreneurs did not gain greatness by chasing attention. They gained greatness by chasing improvement. Their reputations grew because their work demanded respect, not because they begged for approval. Quiet mastery turns you into someone who creates value, not someone who craves validation. It gives you the power to lead without noise, to inspire without speaking, to influence without forcing. People follow mastery, not hype. They trust competence, not performance. They respect results, not announcements. Quiet mastery also builds resilience. When you stop depending on outside praise, you build internal strength. You learn to trust your skills even when progress is slow. You develop perseverance that doesn't collapse under criticism or pressure. Because you are no longer fueled by applause, your energy lasts longer. Your discipline deepens. Your focus sharpens. And when you finally step forward, not to impress, but to serve, your impact is undeniable. Quiet mastery creates a legacy far greater than momentary attention ever could. Attention fades. Applause fades. Recognition fades. But mastery endures. Mastery speaks across generations. Mastery becomes the blueprint others follow. This is the legacy only silent workers understand. You do not need to be seen every day. You only need to become someone whose work cannot be forgotten. Let others chase the spotlight. You chase excellence. Let others announce their goals. You achieve them. Let others seek recognition. You build a legacy, because in the end, the world will not remember who talked the loudest. It will remember who worked the hardest, who mastered their craft, and who became so great that silence itself became their signature. There is a moment in every great person's journey when noise disappears and only the inner voice remains. It is in this silence, not the applause, not the attention, that the unshakable mindset is born. Working in silence is not just a strategy for productivity. It is a forge, a mental training ground where your character hardens, your resilience strengthens, and your spirit becomes impossible to break. Most people crumble because their minds have never been tested without witnesses. They depend on encouragement. They depend on being seen. They depend on energy from the outside to push them forward. But the unstoppable ones, they learn to generate their own fire. They build a mindset so stable, so grounded, so self-powered that nothing external, not fear, not criticism, not pressure can shake them. This is the essence of the unshakable mindset. Silent work builds inner certainty. When you stop announcing your goals, you remove the audience. And when you remove the audience, the only person left to impress is you. This is where true confidence is born. Not confidence from likes, not confidence from praise, not confidence from validation, but confidence that comes from discipline because you know what you're doing when no one is watching. Silent work forces you to confront your doubts, not hide behind attention. It forces you to build the internal muscle of belief earned through effort, not through applause. You become immune to noise. Noise destroys focus. Noise triggers comparison. Noise distracts from progress. But when you intentionally choose silence, you remove yourself from the battlefield of opinions. You no longer react to criticism because you're too focused on execution. You no longer chase praise because you don't need it. You no longer fear judgment because no one knows your next move anyway. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is insulation, protection, mental armor. And the more you work quietly, the stronger this armor becomes. Patience becomes your superpower. Most people quit because they expect fast results. They stop when progress is invisible, forgetting that every meaningful transformation begins underground. But silent workers develop a different relationship with time. They understand that mastery grows slowly, like roots spreading deep below the surface. They understand that greatness is a long game, and patience is not weakness. It is strategic endurance. When you're not performing for the world, you stop rushing, you stop panicking, you stop comparing. You allow the process to unfold, and that patience becomes a competitive advantage. You no longer fear failure. Fear of failure only exists when people are watching. When you tie your identity to applause, failure becomes humiliation. But when you work in silence, failure becomes information, nothing more. You try, you learn, you adjust, you grow. No one criticizes, no one mocks, no one sees the messy middle. This freedom to fail privately creates a level of fearlessness most people will never experience. It is the fearlessness that produces breakthroughs. Your mind strengthens under pressure. The unshakable mindset is not formed through comfort, it is forged through resistance. Every early morning, every late night, Every day you show up without motivation. These moments stack up like bricks in the architecture of mental toughness. Silent work is not glamorous, but it is transformative. It teaches you how to stay committed through boredom, how to stay disciplined through setbacks, how to stay focused through uncertainty. You stop relying on feelings and start relying on standards. This is what makes you unstoppable. You become someone who cannot be measured by ordinary metrics. People who talk all the time get predictable. People who announce their goals get boxed in. People who expose their process get judged prematurely. But you become the unknown variable, the one no one can read, no one can predict, and no one can limit. Hidden growth is dangerous growth. While others try to estimate you based on last year's version, you are evolving quietly, rapidly, relentlessly. And the day you reveal the results, the world will not understand how you got so far so fast. They won't realize that the silence was your strategy and the struggle was your advantage. You do not become unshakable by being loud. You become unshakable by being disciplined, by being focused, by being quietly relentless. This is the mindset that turns ordinary people into anomalies. This is the mindset that builds dynasties in the dark. This is the mindset that makes you truly, undeniably, fearlessly unstoppable. There is a law in life that no one can escape. Anything real, anything strong, anything meaningful takes time. Not noise, not speed, not intensity, but time applied with discipline, consistency, and silence. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they lack patience. They want results faster than the process can deliver. They want recognition before the foundation is built. They want harvest without planting, watering, or waiting. But those who master silent success operate differently. They understand that patience is not passive. Patience is active endurance. It is strategic stillness. It is the mindset that says, I will keep showing up long after everyone else gets tired. This is what separates the extraordinary from the average. Silent growth is slow at first, then sudden. Every seed grows invisibly before it grows visibly. The roots must develop before the leaves appear. The tree must strengthen underground before it ever touches the sky. Your goals are no different. When you work in silence, the world will not see your daily improvements, your early mornings, your long nights, your sacrifices, your discipline. It will look like nothing is happening. And that is where most people quit in the quiet phase, the invisible phase, the phase where progress is real but not yet visible. But silent achievers keep going because they trust the law of compounding, slow, steady, exponential, unstoppable. Patience builds depth, the kind of strength that cannot be broken. Most people want height without depth, but anything that rises without roots will collapse under pressure. Silent workers build deep root skills sharpened in private. Mindsets forged through consistency. Resilience strengthened by adversity. This depth makes you unshakable. It allows you to withstand delays, setbacks, and uncertainty without losing faith in the process. Impatience produces shallow success, success that dies quickly. Patience produces rooted success, success that expands for a lifetime. Patience removes pressure and builds clarity. When you stop rushing, something powerful happens. Your mind clears. You begin to think long term. You stop panicking about where you should be. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop chasing shortcuts. Patience aligns you with your own timeline, not society's timeline, not social media's timeline. And in that clarity, You make smarter decisions, you produce higher quality work, and you stop sabotaging yourself with unrealistic expectations. The world wants everything instantly. But greatness favors those who understand timing. Silent patience lets you fail privately and learn rapidly. Failure is not the enemy. Public failure is what scares most people. When you work quietly, you gain the freedom to experiment, to make mistakes, to restart, to adjust your strategy without judgment, without criticism, without shame. This accelerates your learning curve dramatically. People who announce their goals too early feel pressured to perform. People who work in silence feel free to evolve. And growth always beats performance. Patience is a test of who really wants it. Time reveals intentions. Anyone can be motivated for a month. Anyone can grind for a week. Anyone can talk passionately about their goals. But only the committed can endure the silent seasons where nothing seems to be happening. Patience filters the dreamers from the doers. Patience filters the loud from the focused. Patience filters the short-term thinkers from the legacy builders. If you can stay disciplined during the waiting season, you qualify for the winning season. When you trust the process rewards you. The irony of success is this: the more you chase fast results, the slower you grow, but the more you trust the process, the more momentum you build quietly, invisibly, consistently, until suddenly your results explode all at once. People will call it overnight success. They will celebrate the fruit and overlook the years spent cultivating the roots, but you will know the truth. Silent patience was your superpower. Silent discipline was your advantage. Silent endurance was your breakthrough. Keep building, keep waiting, keep believing. Because the day will come when your progress is no longer invisible, it becomes undeniable. There comes a moment on every silent achiever's journey when you realize something profound. The real reward isn't the recognition, it's who you become. When you work on yourself quietly without broadcasting your progress, without seeking applause, without chasing validation, you begin to build a life that is stronger, freer, and more meaningful than anything external success alone could ever offer. Quiet fulfillment is the highest form of success. Silent success frees you from the prison of approval. Most people are not living their lives. They are living a performance. They make decisions based on how others will react. They chase goals to impress people who don't even care. They tie their self-worth to praise that disappears in minutes. But when you commit to silent success, something inside you shifts. You stop asking, will people like this, and start asking, does this make me stronger, better, closer to the person I want to be? This freedom, the freedom to grow without an audience, is priceless. When you no longer rely on attention, you stop being controlled. You become internally driven, not externally manipulated. That is fulfillment. Quiet growth builds a confidence that noise can never create. Confidence does not come from being seen. It comes from knowing what you have survived, knowing what you have built, knowing the discipline you have practiced when no one was watching. Silent achievers walk differently, not loudly, but with a grounded certainty, because their confidence is rooted in proof created through habits, sacrifice, consistency, self-respect. This quiet confidence is more powerful than any spotlight. It is not fragile. It does not depend on compliments. It is stable, durable, unshakable. It is the confidence of someone who has met their own potential in private long before the world ever recognizes them. Quiet fulfillment lets you enjoy your success without the noise. Many people achieve great things, but never enjoy them because they're too busy showing them off. They don't savor the victory. They don't appreciate the growth. They don't feel the peace. They turn success into a performance instead of a personal triumph. But when success is built silently, it arrives without pressure. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to justify anything. You don't need to defend anything. You simply enjoy what you've created: the freedom, the mastery, the stability, the identity you've built through discipline and quiet effort. True fulfillment is not loud. It is calm. It is the satisfaction that comes from living in alignment with your purpose, your values, your evolution. Quiet success gives you the freedom to live life on your terms. When you stop working for applause, you start working for meaning. This gives you a rare advantage. You make decisions without pressure. You pursue opportunities that truly matter. You stop trying to fit into standards you don't believe in. You gain the courage to turn down distractions, say no to superficial goals, walk away from people who drain you, build something real, steady, lasting. You no longer chase trends. You no longer fear judgment. You create a life that reflects you, not the world's expectations. This is how legacy is built, not through noise, but through authenticity. Quiet fulfillment helps you give back without needing applause. The most impactful people in the world are not the loudest. They are the ones who uplift others quietly through example, through mentorship, through the value they create, through the lives they influence indirectly. True generosity comes without the need for recognition. True impact does not require a stage. True legacy is built through consistency, not attention. Silent achievers help others because it is aligned with who they are, not because they need praise for it. And that is why their influence lasts. The real reward of silent success is inner peace. Think about it. No competition, no pressure, no need to defend your progress, no obsession with whether people approve, no rush to prove anything. Just steady growth, steady execution, steady evolution, and a deep, unshakable peace that comes from knowing I am building something real. I am becoming someone I respect. I am living a life that feels right to me. Silent success is not about hiding. It is about rising without noise, rising with purpose, discipline, and fulfillment. Because when the world finally sees your results, they will not be able to deny the truth. You built a life that didn't need applause to be extraordinary. Pause. Take a breath. Let this truth settle into your spirit. You do not need noise to become powerful. You do not need attention to become great. You do not need permission to rise. Your future is being built in the silence you choose today. Every hour of focus, every moment of discipline, every sacrifice no one sees. These are the bricks of a destiny the world will never be able to ignore. People may doubt you now. They may underestimate you. They may think you are moving slowly, but silently, quietly, consistently, you are building something they cannot comprehend. And when the time is right, your results will speak in a voice louder than any announcement you could ever make. Remember this: the world applauds loudly, but success grows quietly. Keep your head down. Keep your standards high. Keep your focus unbreakable. Because one day, the same people who overlooked you will be asking how you did it. And your answer will be simple: I focused on myself. I worked in silence. And I let my results speak. If this message awakens something inside you, if you are ready to rise quietly, discipline yourself fiercely, and build a life that does not need applause, then walk with us. Subscribe to Hill Mindset Legacy. Hit the like button to push this message further. Comment "Silence builds power" if you're committed to this journey, and share this video with someone who needs to hear these words today. This is not just motivation. This is your blueprint, your reminder, your turning point. Rise quietly. Work relentlessly. Let the world witness the results.